Hello, welcome back to another video. Today we got some good old liberal hype. And give it a little likey like. The West has fallen. Let's get into it. See how the West has fallen. Or rather, fallen more than it already has. Because let's be real. Ever since, I want to say the early 2000s, the West has been on a decline. I'd say since Bush. It's been on like a massive decline. So yeah. See, and I don't want to say it can't get any worse, but let's be real. It always can, especially with the people that are out there, the loonies.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. And of course, here's your meme of the day, brought to you by 5.
This is the wild one. Remember the Wicked Witch of the West? Now it is a member of Congress. That's hilarious. Hilarious and true. Now, actually, I feel like the Wicked Witch of the West would oppose all this shit. You know? She'd be like, nah, fam, to hell with you weirdos, and zap them all away.
Mind.com. Just some really shocking and frankly devastating scenes now popping up across the West as it seems Christmas is now being ambushed. You know, this season is supposed to be our most beloved and sacred time. It's time where we get to take a step back from work, get a break from school, spend time with family, the warm spaces, the beautiful Christmas lights, just the feeling of Christmas. It's the greatest holiday season, but now I guess it's being totally sullied as the season of Santa is turning into yet again another battlefield for imported political frickin' grievances. Yeah, beautiful scenes of Christmas shopping and Christmas joy have now been replaced with Palestinian protesters hijacking the frickin'.
I will never understand why these people have nothing better to do. Like, bro, imagine you're an enlisted service member. You're fucking out in the dredges and shit, you know, defending your country and during the holidays, wishing you could be back home with your family and loved ones. And you're just like, well, at least, and you're just like thanking God you get to live another day, you know, because you never know. And then you have these lunatics where they spend their free time instead of with their loved ones, protesting. People shopping for their loved ones. Insane. But then again, it makes sense that these people aren't with their loved ones because they probably don't have any because they're that insufferable. Like, I doubt any of these people actually reproduced. And if they did, their kids probably don't have any contact with them because they just don't care. They don't like them.
Scene. I got to show you guys these clips, and of course we have to continue having a conversation relating to the incompatibility of Islam in the Western world. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. And
I don't get it. That's another thing I do not understand. If you want Islam so bad, go the fuck back to where Islam is. Don't bring it over here. We don't want it. We don't need it. If you want your Muslim laws so badly, go back to your Muslim countries where you can fucking have at it with your backwards water laws that violate the rights of other people. Please, go back. We don't need you here trying to change our laws that respect people's freedoms to benefit you just because, oh, boo-hoo, I'm an entitled immigrant. I deserve the world. Get the fuck out of here. Get out. If you don't adapt to Western culture, Western ideologies, and you don't adapt and acclimate to the Western way of life, then you don't deserve to be in the West. Simple as that.
Let's continue that conversation. We've got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so I got two videos here that are going viral.
And this is why Japan is so critical with their immigration. This is why they're very, very, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? They're very, they control that with an iron fist, essentially. They don't allow just anyone to become a citizen. They don't allow just anyone to come in or out as an immigrant. You know, if you want to come in as a tourist, they don't care. You're giving them money. But like, if you want to come in as an immigrant and actually live there legally, that process, from what I've heard, is very difficult. And they like screen you fully and whatnot to ensure that you will be of aid to like Japan and whatnot. So I feel like America should have more of that, where we should properly screen who these individuals are, and if they don't acclimate to the Western way of life, we just don't let them in or we kick them out. Either or, you know? Because why should we as Americans have to sacrifice our freedoms for some fucking immigrant that doesn't even respect us and our culture? I feel like we shouldn't.
Viral. We've got Palestinian protesters storming a Christmas market in Europe, and then we've got protesters storming a Zara store, creating a mob scene as people are trying to shop for Christmas.
Bro. I will always say this, we should just go back to hosing down these people. How is this not a hazard? How is this not a fire hazard to just have a flare like this? You know? Like shit. You know, for a country that wants to protect the kids and all that shit, they sure don't give a crap when the kids are inhaling toxic chemicals produced by smoke from flares. Just saying. It was beyond retarded.
They fund the genocide.
Out the store. Come on.
You know what's sadder? These security guards can see them coming in. Why not just stop them outside? It's so dumb.
Zara is a genocidal company!
And I'm just
Like, bro, imagine having this much free time in your hands. Like, holy shit. I would love for these women to go to Palestine and see how they're treated over there. I would just love it. They change their attitude real fucking quick about all this shit. They'd be thankful that they live here in America and not over there.
sitting here asking myself, I'm thinking, what the hell are we doing? What are we accepting? What is happening to the West? How did we get from
Joke.
cozy Christmas shopping to you're not allowed to enjoy your holidays? No, you need to be focused on all the problems going on in the Middle East. What is happening? And all of this
Bro, don't worry. Don't worry, liberal hive mind. Inevitably, when our Jewish Israeli overlords decide to do it, they're gonna just make Christmas anti-Semitic as a whole, and you're not gonna be able to celebrate Christmas. You know, even though it's a Christian holiday, you're not gonna be able to celebrate it, even though it's technically protected under the First Amendment, because, like I said, it's a religious holiday. They're gonna say Christmas is anti-Semitic, and you're not gonna be able to celebrate it. I'm calling it now. They're gonna try to do that shit. I mean, they're already trying to make it so that way you can't say anything bad about Jews and labeling all that anti-Semitic. So it's like they're gonna go inevitably for the holidays. Oh, but they don't control the media, as they're trying to make a push to like, bro, it's so dumb. They're literally saying we don't control the media, then they make a push to control the media to, you know, censor people and stop people from saying bad things about Israel. It's fucking hilarious.
stuff
But yeah,
just
don't
keeps
worry.
bringing up the same emotions.
And I'm sure the Islams will be just as happy to see Christmas go. So just saying, you know, that's one thing they'll both cheer over. Both sides, they may hate each other, but they hate Christians even more. It's fucking wild.
The same feeling, the same reaction. I think this is the visual proof that we are losing what our ancestors built. I mean, we had something truly beautiful. And in reference to those videos I showed you guys, what keeps popping up in my head are all these archival, videos that I've seen in the past, these grainy black and white vintage videos of Christmas shopping back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s.
Look at that, different time. Wow, look at that. Not a single person of color. Never mind. Here we have the Mexicans. I saw that mustache and those wrinkles. I see a Mexican when I see one.
Look what we once had. That was ours. And now what we have.
These look like walnuts, but also like testicles. simultaneously.
Our space is being invaded by groups of people with foreign grievances, waving around their smoke flares, wearing masks and headscarves, and if you don't clap for it, if you don't look at this as progress, then somehow you're the bad person. The whole thing is a frickin' disgrace. And there's also a deep double standard here, because imagine, just imagine, if a massive group of Americans pulled this kind of nonsense in a foreign Muslim country. Imagine during Ramadan, we took—
They'd all be executed. I can guarantee it. It's so funny. It's like America always has to be tolerant of the world, but the world can always choose to be very intolerant of America. It's insane, dude. And it's like, honestly, I'm fucking sick and tired of it. Like, America is everyone's punching bag, and then when America actually wants to put their foot down, the world's like, no, America, you're being a bully. You can't do that. It's like, honestly, just shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, genuinely. Like, oh my God. I was hoping that Trump this time around would be the president to, like, put his foot down and be like, you know what, fuck you. If you want to fuck with America, we're gonna fuck you twice as hard. But it turns out that he's kind of not doing that, which is honestly sad. Instead he's like sending money to Israel to fund the fucking war over there for no reason, sending more shit to whatchamacallit, Zelensky and whatnot, which is also pretty stupid. I thought he said he was literally going to end the war with Russia and Ukraine 3 months into his presidency. We're still doing that, which kind of sucks. And mind you, I understand that obviously that's an unrealistic expectation, but it's like, man, I kind of wish America wasn't involved in all these fucking wars that are on the opposite side of the planet. Sending our taxpayer dollars over there and shit,
their stores, their malls, their public holiday gathering spaces, and we started doing the same thing. They would frickin' chop our heads off. You'd be executed. You'd be disappeared, never to be seen or heard from again. Meanwhile, look at this, and all we do is surrender. On the issue of Christmas, we already frickin' have surrendered. I mean, Christmas is a part of Western culture and our heritage. And now Merry Christmas has been replaced with Happy Holidays. Ooh, it's inclusive. No, it's the erasure of our culture. And frankly, it's frickin' unacceptable. And I wonder why we have to sit here and apologize. We need to apologize for having our own culture and our own holidays. We need to—
Bro, I'm like done with this shit, honestly. Like, genuinely, I'm done being a punching bag as an American for like the world. Because fuck that, dude. It's so tiresome how everyone always bitches and moans that America gets involved in something, but then when America doesn't get involved in something, they immediately start bitching and moaning that America isn't getting involved. Oh, America's doing too much for the side of Israel, not enough for the side of Palestine. What would happen if America pulled out of both? Oh my God, America, what are you doing? Why aren't you aiding, and why aren't you sending aid to the Middle East? Look at it, it's in shambles. America tries to, broker a peace deal with Ukraine and Russia. No, America, quit getting involved in those affairs. Blah, 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 blah. America decides to stop getting involved in those affairs. America, why aren't you doing anything about Russia and Ukraine? You're supposed to be doing something. Russia's a literal superpower just like you. You can't let Russia do bad things. Police Russia. Then they immediately turn around once the policing is done and are like, America, stop policing the world. You're being oppressive. It's like, I'm sick of it. I'm like, you know what? Fuck all of you. Fuck all of you. I'm done.
Rename it. We need to give up our spaces. We need to be shamed into silence. We need to apologize. I am done with all of it. We have nothing to apologize for. And we should no longer be scared to speak our minds. We should no longer be scared to advocate for our way of life. And of course, that entails speaking against forces that seek to destroy it. And of course, at the center of that is Islam. And that's exactly what is visualized in those earlier videos that I played for you. And I'm glad that we're finally entering an era where people are no longer intimidated. They're no longer scared to highlight these obvious truths.
We do not have any obligation whatsoever to anyone to allow them entry into our country and to all of the benefits that that offers. We don't have any obligation to do that.
Agree.
And quite frankly, it's asinine that we can't have a realistic policy conversation about how certain cultures are quite literally incompatible with ours. It should be okay to say that. And more importantly, it should be okay to base our immigration.
It shouldn't be racist. It shouldn't be anti-Semitic. It shouldn't be anything to say, yeah, we're not going to allow your people over here because you literally clash with our way of life. That's not racist by any means, or anti-Semitic or fucking what have you by any fucking shape or form. Okay, look at Japan. Japan quite literally just put the fucking foot down, and they're like, no, we're not fucking letting in 50,000 fucking Indians into our country just because we're facing a little deficit in terms of our birth rate. Fuck no. You know, other countries do the exact same thing. They don't let just mass droves of immigration in, and they put their foot down. They're like, no, we're not fucking having any of that shit. And they're fucking like, woo, go, yay. But then, you know, America's like, yeah, we're not going to let you people in because you people quite literally will destroy our way of life. And it's America bad. You should be letting them in. You should be letting everyone in. America, you were literally founded on X, Y, and Z. How can you not support what your founding fathers stood for? It's like, bro, you don't know what our founding fathers stood for if that's your stance. All right? Shut the fuck up. And it'll always be from the people who don't even live in this fucking country anymore that bitch the hardest. It's like, holy fuck, man. You'll have Americans living in Japan who will bitch and moan about American politics still. It's like, you know, they won't even be fucking Americans. They'll just be foreigners complaining about America while not living in America. You'll have people who move to Canada, living in Canada, bitching about the American politics and American way of life for some fucking reason. You'll have people in the UK criticizing America. It's like, okay, bitch, fix your own country first before, you know, stepping into our turf. It's like, bro, all these fucking people who don't even fucking live here want to throw in their 2 fucking cents. It's like, shut the fuck up. You're not here. You're not suffering with the rest of us. You're off living somewhere else. Shut up. Okay? We don't care. It's fucking ridiculous.
Policy on that. So I'm glad that President Trump is taking some steps in that direction because it is a long time coming.
That is exactly right. I think it's time to admit that some cultures are incompatible with America, and that should be okay to say. In fact, I think that's one of the most basic, obvious things in the world.
Yeah, in my opinion, we should Islam and Judaism out of the country. Sorry. Other religions, I don't really care about, you know, you fucking you do you, but those 2 quite literally conflict with the main religion of America, which is Christianity. So they should go immediately. I mean, hell, have you seen how they treat Christians in their own countries? They treat us like shit. Literally. Like, fuck. They'll literally beat you over there just because you're Christian. So it's like, they treat us that way over there. Why the fuck should we show them any courtesy in our country? You know? It's utterly ridiculous. Which is why I say, fuck those religions, kick them out. You know? Islam can go, and America can become the 110th country to kick them out. If you know, you know. Full of fucking Spain.
Of course some cultures are incompatible. Of course some ideological systems do not play nicely with Western liberty. It's really not that complicated. You know, actually I dug up this old video of Charlie Kirk. May his soul rest in peace. I think he hit the nail on the head.
Is macro Islam compatible with Western values? Macro. Of course it's not. There are 3 major reasons why. Islam does not believe in freedom of speech. Islam does not believe in freedom of religion. And Islam does not believe in separation of mosque and state. Those 3 things are antithetical to the West. Most Muslim majority countries, you cannot criticize the Prophet Muhammad. In most Muslim majority countries, you do not have the same robust freedom of religion protections. And finally, whereas we in the West are very careful to try to intermix religion and state, they are commanded to actually go into the state and try to change the state to be more Islamic around the core pillars of Islam. And the last thing I'll finally say is I cannot see a single Western country that has become more Islamic and has become a better place to live that is happier or freer. I'm not
And as I stated, this is why I said that we don't need Islamic laws here. We don't need Sharia law in America. Their laws literally violate the liberties of other people in this country. So they can fuck right off back to their sand huts in the Middle East if they truly want their bullshit laws and leave my country the way it is. All right. Go back to your backwards water countries where you can stone woman to death for showing too much ankle. All right. We don't need that shit here. We don't need your laws violating the civil liberties of other Americans to be implemented here. To hell with that.
Discounting that there are good individual Muslims. The question that we need to reckon with the West is Mohammedanism compatible with the teachings of Blackstone? Is it compatible with the legacy of Wilberforce?
All right.
And the great thinkers that have come from this country? And I will say, no, there's a reason why when you go to these Islamic countries that you're not going to see the equal protection of rights, that you do not believe in universal human equality, that you do not believe the same things that we believe in the West. And I think it's suicidal to import millions of them.
These are fundamental differences. And if your religion tells you that the end goal is to make governments submit to your doctrine, if the core of your ideology is religious conquest and religious domination, well then obviously that doesn't work here. And well, that's exactly what the ideology is.
The future of
That sounds like a dictatorship as well. You know? The thing that the anti-fascists should realistically be opposing, but instead they're in favor for.
Islam in the West.
Alhamdulillah, the future is ours. Islam's going to spread. There's no doubt to it. The West is West, East, North, South, it's all going to be Muslim.
Yeah.
Right?
No, it ain't.
I have absolutely no doubt to that. The only question is, Rami, are me and you going to be a part of that, or are we going to be on the sidelines? Islam is not a spectator sport.
Yeah.
You got to step up. Everybody has tried to stop Islam. The Mongols. Alhamdulillah, they ended up becoming Muslim. All these empires had plans to finish Islam. Islam's not going anywhere.
I have been saying this for years, and finally it seems like people are summoning the balls to sing alongside me these days. Because the issue of incompatibility here has been obvious since day one. I have played this video so many times when making that argument.
Yep.
That's a Muslim preacher in Dearborn, Michigan, chanting death to America. And well, now all of a
Fucking
sudden I
insane,
see
dude.
Ron DeSantis posting about this. I see top politicians. And I'm thinking, yeah, where the hell have you people been? This is not new.
Yeah, all of a sudden they care. It's pretty insane when the people wake up to things and they're like, oh, why isn't our government doing anything about this clear affront to America? And all of a sudden the politicians are like, oh shit, did you know about this? Oh no, we're gonna get on top of that. It's like, bro, every single one of these fucks should be deported out of our country and sent back to their fucking bullshit sand huts back in the Middle East. Genuinely, every single one of these sand monkeys should be kicked out. I full-heartedly believe that, and I support everything I just said. Because holy fuck, dude. You're gonna chant death to America while being here and benefiting off America? Get the fuck out of my country. Genuinely. Every single fucking one of you goddamn Muslim fucks can leave. I don't want you here. Go back to your goddamn sand huts in the Middle East, bro. Go back to fucking sheep over there.
This is what's been brewing under the surface for at least 2 decades. And yet the entire time as we've been raising our concerns, the left has told us, you're racist and diversity is our strength. I don't see
No,
what
it ain't.
strength we derive from this. Where is the strength? Us losing our cultural cohesion? Us having our holidays attacked? Our social peace disrupted with the world's frickin' issues? Those videos that I showed you of Christmas being ambushed, that's the frickin' symbol, folks. That's the warning sign. It's a symptom of a deeper problem. These protests, these disruptions, these chants of death to America on our streets, these preachers openly telling you that the goal is to turn the country Islamic, those are the warning signs. That's what happens when you refuse to admit what is going on, when you choose virtue signaling over common.
Honestly, in my opinion, I feel like with all this shit that's going on, it's gonna get to the point where the Pope might be forced to call another Holy Crusade. And this time it won't just be for the Holy Land, it'll be a worldwide one. Because at the end of the day, with all these religions, it's essentially still boils down to it being a oppression of Christianity. And the Catholic Church cannot sit idly by while their people are essentially crying out for help because they're being unjustly persecuted. So that would essentially lead, like, it would force the Pope's hand to be like, all right, governments, you need to either fix this shit or I am going to have to call forth a holy crusade to defend the Christians. And I feel like there are enough Christians out there with enough guns who are seeing exactly all this, exactly what the world's turning into, exactly what we're seeing right now, who are just sick and tired of it, that are just waiting for that moment where the Pope is like, all right, Holy Crusade, we need to do something. And we start fucking, they're like, it's our time to shine, you know? And I feel like there are, because with the last crusade, Christianity was still more or less still in Europe, to my knowledge, like in Europe and the Mediterranean and all that shit. So now in the modern day, Christianity has spread far and wide. You have Christianity in Japan, you have Christians in Korea. I don't know what the religion of North Korea is or what the main religion of China is, but if it is also Christian, then they might be willing to, Holy Crusade, depending. I know Russia would 100% back a Holy Crusade because Putin is very much religious. And it's like you have all these countries that has Christianity already there, and you see all these Christians that are just suffering around the world, and you're just like, when is enough enough?
Frickin' sense. Our way of life and our society deserves respect, especially if we've opened our doors to you. Our streets are not your theological war zone, and if you come here and truly want to live under our system, then respect it. Celebrate your own faith within your own framework, fine. But if your goal is to trample our traditions, scream for the death of our country, and slowly work towards a religious takeover, then no, don't expect us to be silent. And clearly that's a genuine issue here, whether the left wants to admit it or not. They claim, no, it's just an absolute extreme minority that doesn't exist. Well, obviously that isn't the case. And so
I'm gonna be real, I don't even think this is just a left only issue. I feel like the right also has blame in this, because I don't think I've seen the right, apart from like liberal hive mind, being at all invested in this whatsoever. Like, I don't think I've heard anything being put out by any of the right political leaders about all this stuff and whatnot, just like the left. I think they're both being silent on this. And I think they both take the exact same sentiment when it comes to criticizing, Islam and criticizing, Judaism and Israel, where they both would rather silence you because, for obvious reasons. So it's like, it's just, I don't think it's just an issue of only one side. Although I do say that the left does pretend like nothing is happening a whole lot more than the right does, until it's a little too late.
Enough with this naive turning a blind eye. America, the West, must protect itself as any other nation would. And not all threats are in the form of military. Some are shadowy conspiracies, some are shadowy plots, and I think that's clearly what's happening here in a lot of ways. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
Yeah. What the fuck? That's a wild ass title, but then again, that is Vanoss. So yeah. Yeah, I just think it's very stupid. I don't understand why we're letting this happen to our country. Genuinely. Like, oh my god, dude. The decline is so wild. And it's just so sad to see. But yeah, I genuinely don't know what we can do other than just voice our opinions and try to, reach out to as many people as we can with our voice. But other than that, realistically, we just have to wait. The other thing we can do is vote people in and out of office. So yeah, our votes do count, do matter when it comes to that as well. So that is another way. That is one thing that's really good about our government is that, we essentially choose who's in government. So, at the end of the 4 years when Trump's out, we can elect a president that's, against all this shit and actually does something to defend the American way of life and the Christian way of life, Christian Catholic that America was founded on, and it'll just be a full 180. But until then, we just have to wait. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, and all that YouTube jazz, and I'll catch y'all in the next one later.